when we lived up Jameson Road, Bobby and Kenny, Alan, myself, Dougie Kowalchuk, and Brian and Rick Coleman, and there were others from up the Forestry Road here too. And but anyway, we got involved in the first Beaupre Scout troop.
Oh.
Pierre Ima was one of the leaders, mm-hmm. and Robertson from the Dam. Now I have to apologize again. I can't remember the name, but anyway, Robertson. He was the scout leader. Anyway, we met. Calgary Power gave us a building mm-hmm. down mm-hmm. to use as a scout hall down below the dam, mm-hmm. and we would have. I don't remember what night of the week it was, but anyway, it was one night of the week you went to Scouts, mm-hmm. and we would all go down from Jameson Road, and they'd come from up the Forestry Road here to the Scout Hall. And we were the first Beaupre Scout troop, and for camp. But it was a little different for us, as we weren't city scouts, of course. We were country boys, and we lived out here in this glorious countryside, and so. But our scout camp was down here at Guy Gibson's, mm-hmm. and we'd come down there for our scout camps on weekends and at different times. We did. I can remember doing several winter camps down there at Guy Gibson's, and we were the first Beaupre scout troop, and I remember. Brian and I and maybe a few others, I don't remember, actually got our Queen Scout badges while we were in First Beaupre. And then I went off to left home, went off to university, and I think First Beaupre dissolved into First Cochrane, or the Cochrane Scout Troop. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always tell the story, people, if you go to social activities, and quite often a sort of a get to know one another activity, they'll put people in table groups, and they put out this little paper game you play where you write down something that you have done in your life, or something you've experienced that you don't think anybody else in the group will have ever done. Mm. And then you get them all written down, everybody writes down their thing, and then you go around, and whichever table gets the most points, and the way you get points, of course, is if you read it out and nobody's ever done that, like climb Mount Everest or whatever, then you get a point, and the table with the most points gets the prize. Well, whenever I go to these games quite often. The one thing I write down is shook the hand of Queen Elizabeth II, because when she became, her coronation was in 1952, mm-hmm. and when she and Prince Philip made I think it was their first trip to Canada was in. I don't even remember the year, but it might have been around 1956, 54, 56. They came to Calgary, to the Calgary Stampede, and then they got on the train, and they went up to Banff, mm-hmm. take the Queen to Banff, So the train was going to stop at the Cochrane train station. So the first Beaupre Scout troop went into the Cochrane train station, and we're standing on the, and we all had flags. In those days, it was the red ensign. It wasn't we were all standing on the train station, and the Queen and Prince Philip got off the train stop. They got off the train and walked the length of the train station and got back on. And here's all these Girl Guides and Boy Scouts and Brownies and community groups on the train station. Well, Queen Elizabeth II got off the train and started walking up, and we had been told that the Queen would not talk to us, or she'd just walk along and get back on the train. She got off and walked over, and I was a little taller than most of the others, I guess, and she reached out her hand, and I
Yeah.
shook the Queen's
Wow.
hand.
Yeah.
She had a white glove on. Anyway, so that's what I always tell people is I was a first Beaupre Scout troop, and it was the Queen's visit to Canada shortly after her coronation, and I shook her hand on the
Wow.
train station at Cochrane. So from little old Jameson Road.